Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Keane, here this evening. And this evening, we're talking about the big one. It's Manchester United versus Arsenal, the old rivalry renewed in the Premier League. They would say it was prime Barclays when this rivalry was at its peak. So no better man to get on here this evening than my Irish brother, Mr. Shane Gooner. Shane, how's it going this evening?
All good, all good. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to come on and talk about what is, for me, as an Arsenal fan, the biggest game. Growing up, it was always massive. People tried to compare the Liverpool City rivalry to it. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even comparable to the way it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. That sort of from 97 onwards to 2005-ish. It was all there was, really, and it defined an era in the Premier League. And yeah, it's not what it was, but I think there could be a few fireworks now on Sunday. This is one of the bigger ones of recent history for both clubs. United looking to prove that City wasn't a fluke, and Arsenal looking to step further ahead of City in the league. So yeah, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. And thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. I always enjoy your shows and we always interact. We always have a good crack. You mentioned Arsenal and going for a title. Obviously, this season, I think they've done relatively well to be where they are in terms of 7 points clear. In terms of, I think they're getting results in games they probably shouldn't be getting them in. But then there's games where they're dropping points and you'd question maybe Arteta's doing tactical decisions. That being said, though, Shane, you're 7 clear in the league. And not many teams from this point in the season has lost the title from this position. Where are you at with Arsenal now? Because obviously your squad depth is a lot better this year than compared to the two previous title races you would have been in. And then also, I think, again, you have a very good defence. And Alex Ferguson said it best, that defence wins you titles. I know Arteta's kind of there, and I suppose you have your doubts about him, but where's your overall feeling on your title charge this year as opposed to 22-23?
I was more confident than 22-23. I think that the squad depth thing has been kind of overblown. Norgaard's played 33 minutes in the Premier League. That's not squad depth. That's just someone who's coming and sitting on the bench. Eze's played half an hour in the last 8 or 9 games. They're only there for if one of the favourites gets injured. Havertz has had another flare-up of his knee. Apparently it was ligaments again. He's never going to really ever be fit enough to play a lot of games. I do feel that if this was 22-23, that when we were 7 points clear, I don't think this team would be 7 points clear because we were up against a much better City and a much better City chased us down. Can this City chase us down? I don't know. That's I found that when I was talking to views about it, we're more looking at City's games at the weekend and hoping they drop points than sort of praying that we win. Of course, we want us to win, but we're more confident that the only way we can win it is by City just completely imploding than us running away with it. We've had 3 or 4 chances this season to take that step, and he's blown it every single time. And there's only so many times you get away with it. For me, no matter who you're up against. I mean, if you look at the league, even City, I think, are 2 wins behind us of having the same amount of wins, and now it is 2. I think it's 2 losses more. But people are talking like they've imploded. Now the last few games they have 3 points from a possible 12, but how are we still only 7 points clear? Then that's what you have to look at, and that's what I keep saying to people. I'm saying November 27th we were 7 points clear going into December. City are meant to have collapsed like nobody's ever seen before, and we're meant to be the best team in the world, and we're still only 7 points clear. So we've had the same form as them over a month and a half. It's just been spread out differently, which is even more worrying for me because, yeah, City have dropped 9 points from a possible 12, but that just, if they start winning again, then that was a slump, or that was a blip where we've been winning one, drawing one, winning one, losing one, winning one, drawing one, and that is less sustainable for me because we've drawn 2 in a row now. So if we don't beat you lot, or we draw with us, we've got 3 draws in a row, which everybody was saying that was why City were finished, because they drew 3 in a row. So it's sort of, people are looking at it the wrong way for me. Arsenal are going to win the quadruple. Well, City are in the League Cup final as well, 1 foot in the League Cup final. City are still in the FA Cup. City are still in the Champions League. Yeah, we have a better team than them, I think, all round, especially when you look at the defence. But if you look at our attack, there's several attacks in this league better than ours. And as I've said many times on my show that people don't seem to realise is that out of the 22 games in the league this season, we've only taken the lead in 4 of them without a set piece. So we're not breaking teams down. The only time we score from open play is when we score from a set piece, and then the other team comes out and we're able to get at them. Now, if we go into games and teams defend set pieces, they can. Carrick could be telling his team, right, if we don't concede from a set piece, there's only a 1 in 6 chance that they'll score, that they'll beat us if we don't concede. You know what I mean? So it sounds harsh, but that's the way it is. So if people can learn how to defend against our set pieces, we don't really have much left. And for me, talk of quadruples and stuff like that is ridiculous, man. If Ferguson couldn't do it with his United team and Guardiola couldn't do it with his City team in the past, Mikel Arteta certainly ain't doing it.
And do you know what? That quadruple talk that's been going around the last day or so, I don't know if it's Jamie Carragher being serious or is he trying to throw pressure onto Arsenal. I don't know which way he's trying to do it. You know the way Carragher is. He's very selective the way he is in the media and with his first of all his analysis, which can be quite good by the way, but also his articles. They're very particular. I don't know if he's trying to put the pressure on Arsenal. Who knows? But I think, look, for me, I look at Arsenal. I think they have a very good spine. I look at Raya. I look at Saliba, Gabriel. Timber's been unbelievable this year. Rice, Eze when he plays, he's kind of similar to Bruno, where he can do something out of nothing. In the middle of the park, he's a maverick, and then you have Gyökeres is starting to get a couple of goals now. Maybe he gets a bit of confidence, going into the end of the season. And Trossard seems to be clutch this year as well, digging you out of holes as well. So I think you have a good squad that way. I think you have a good nucleus of a team. I think if Declan Rice stays fit, you have every chance because I think he's been exceptional this season. And when you look at him, he was on United's list for years. And in the summer, we got Ronaldo back. He was the number 1 midfield target, and the club was like, no, we get Ronaldo back because City want him.
Yeah.
You kind of look at hindsight, we should have got Rice. But I look at Arsenal, I think City have been poor this year, and I think all the talk around Guardiola leaving will work in your favour. And I think Liverpool dropping off will work in your favour, but I think it's going to be squeaky bum time. But I do think I think Arsenal get over the line in spite of Arteta rather than because of Arteta.
Yeah. Well, if it does happen, that will be the case because he's doing everything he can to pull the reins back. He's doing everything he can to stop us from streaking away with it because he's such a coward. So anytime we get a chance, he shits himself and he goes defensive or he plays just not to lose, to the point where when City play before us, any weekend they play before us, if they don't get maximum points, I go, well, we're not winning because he's going to play for that. He's just going to be too cautious. And that's what's happened. Now, we haven't scored in the league in our last 2 games. I mean, is that the sign of a league champion? Rice has played really below average in those 2 games. So even if he doesn't drop with injury, he's going to have a long period of not being able to affect the game the way he normally does because his whole game is his engine and it's being taken away from him because he's being absolutely flogged into the ground. Now, I've seen some of these guys come out, these so-called top gooners, and say, oh, well, Lampard played 38 games this season for Chelsea and then 36 games in 2004, 2005. Okay, well, Lampard wasn't box to box. Lampard spent a lot of his time in the opposition's half waiting for the ball. He wasn't back winning the ball back. Of course, he tracked back when he had to, but he wasn't up and down the pitch the way Rice is. See, they concentrate on the number of games played, not the amount of ground covered. You know what I mean? They don't cover the ground covered, and Rice is up and down, up and down, up and down, and you can see how frustrated he's getting because he's not able to do what he wants to do, and same with Saka. So we can talk about Trossard. Trossard had a good November. He's been in and out of form then in between that. Martinelli's only got 1 league goal. Our highest scorer in the league has 5 goals. So there's all these things that when the season ends, if you haven't won it, these are the reasons why. If City put 4 or 5 wins together, I think we'll rock. I really do, because I don't see us winning 4 or 5 in a row. The most we've won in the league in a row this season is 5. That's it. That's our record, is 5 in a row. 5 wins in a row. City have already had a 6. Villa have had an 11. So I think if City turn around and beat Wolves tomorrow, then they have a tough game because they're playing Tottenham, who we know always get a result against them. If they can win that, they always do, and they already did them at the Etihad this season. But if they can win those 2 and start putting a run together, get Haaland back scoring again, get Gahey in the team, and they win 3, 4, 5 in a row, will wobble. I know will wobble because it's Mikel Arteta. And then all it takes is a week where you go out of the FA Cup and you lose a couple of league games and everything starts falling apart and players are busting up. It's all good when you're on top of the table and you're top of the Champions League. Liverpool were like that last season, though, and they still fell out in the Champions League. Then they lost to Plymouth in the FA Cup. You know what I mean? That can happen quite quickly. Quite quickly.
Yeah.
And we'll see the excuses come out then and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, that's what I've said before, and I'll finish on this, is that I said, why isn't he getting questioned on the injuries and all the stuff? And I was told because everything's going well. Wait till the stop's going well, and then he might get questioned. But as for now, I think it's not as rosy behind the scenes as people are saying, and we've seen it sort of slipping out recently. Look, we could win it in spite of him, just if City just continue to fall off. But, you know, as it stands, I still just feel that we're just a couple of City wins away from letting it get to us, and then we'll see how we react when they finally do put the pressure on us.
Yeah, I think that's why I think neutrals want to see a City put the pressure on, because we've seen two previous cases of where the pressure has been put on Arteta, and then he's failed. Well, do you know what, Shane? I'll go one further in the league campaign, but it's not related to the title. 3 occasions when he went for top 4, and Conte done ye as well. The top 4 as well. And then obviously slotting Guardiola done ye in 2 previous seasons. So I want to see it because there's no excuse now. I think you have the squad. I think the squad is there if he uses it, right? He has all the tools there. He spent nearly he spent 1.2 billion or something he spent in his time as manager over what, 8 year span, 7-8 year span. Like,
but he's only going into his 7th year now, so 6 years.
7th year, yeah. Six years, yeah, sorry. Yeah. 6 years and he spent that much. I think Arteta now needs to win one of the big ones. So I'm talking another FA Cup, Premier League or Champions League he has to win. I think the League Cup, is a stepping stone trophy. Because I remember us in 2006 when we did in the league for 3 years. Remember when we lost Beckham, we were losing Roy Keane, Van Nistelrooy left. Then he brought in Rooney, Ronaldo, Saha, players like that. And then we won the League Cup. Then we started winning trophies again. Yeah. I look at this Arsenal team. I said this on your channel, actually, I think a couple of weeks ago. If Arsenal won the League Cup, I think that's a good stepping stone to win titles after Arteta. Whereas I think if he wins one of the big ones, maybe he gets the grace of staying for another year or 2. But he needs to win something big, because you can't have that outlay of money and you can't have that outlay of backing. And then also, you can't have a squad that people say is the deepest squad in European football and not win a trophy this season. I think there's no excuse like it.
Yeah, well, look, that should have been the case 2-3 years ago. Like you said, when he blew that Champions League, he should have been gone then. That should have been the end of him. And then we just sort of went off on the next season, 22-23, and shocked everybody, including ourselves, I might add. And then when things were going really well, I think he was just standing back going, what's happening here? And then come Christmas, he started trying to tinker with it. Oh, well, I have to put my stamp on it, and we fell apart. And then the next season, fell apart again. Oh, but we were brilliant after Christmas. Yeah, always too little, too late. Too little, too late with this guy. So for me, I look at this season and go, if you don't win it this year, not only should you be gone from Arsenal, you should never work again. I mean, honestly, and I know that sounds really dramatic, but where his reputation comes from, you've heard me on my show. I've never seen the likes of it before, ever. Not just with Arsenal. In football, I've never seen someone earn this reputation with nothing to back it up. Like, it's not like he's working like Emery with a shoestring budget. It's not like he's at a small team who he's just made big. He's at Arsenal, and he's being backed like no other Arsenal manager has ever been backed before. And he's not winning anything, which is fine if that was the case, if they're saying, oh, he needs to prove himself. But it's the fact that they're talking about him like it's him and Enrique. Which one's better? Who's the best manager? And I'm like, come on, man. I mean, this is outrageous. It's not like we're playing good football. It's not like we're smashing teams. It's not like he's coming up with tactical masterclasses like the Zebri or something like that, where you go, wow, how did he think of that? He's not changing the game. He's not getting the best out of the youth. He's not doing any of these things that normally there's several paths a manager can go down, and you go, well, he's brilliant at working with the kids, or he's a tactical genius, or he's great in the transfer market, or he's a cup winner, or he's not any of these things. And he gets promoted like this.
Shane, even a good man manager.
He's not that either, though. He's terrible at that as well. Like, he's awful. Yeah. He's awful. He's got no skills, no man management skills. But if he doesn't win the Premier League or the Champions League, for me, he's got to go. Even if he wins the League Cup. But you're right about the League Cup. I've been saying that for all season, for several seasons. And especially this season, if we win the League Cup, that could be the difference between us winning the league or bottling it. Because if we lose, if it is City that we get in the final and we lose to them, and then they start to chase us down, now we still have to go to the Etihad. So when people are saying, "Oh, it's 7 points," I mean, if they close at the 4 and then keep it at that all the way up to the Etihad game, and then they beat us with 6 games left, and it's only a point, and you start to wobble a bit, you know what I mean? They've been there, done it, and have done that, you know. So people need to sort of take that into account. Having said that, if they lose to Wolves tomorrow, then for me it's over. Like, and but that's my issue though, is that I'm waiting on a moment that Arsenal have where I go, yeah, that's it now. But I'm waiting on a moment that City have, and that's not right to me. That's all backward. You know, you're a United fan. You've seen championship winning teams. You know, there's that moment when you go, yeah, man, it's this year. It's this year. I know it's this year. You know what? You spin a result around, or you
our most recent title win, the Van Persie year. You just knew.
Yeah, you knew. Yeah, you knew that year, and that killed me at the time. But you knew there was moments when you're going, yeah, no, yeah, they've got it this year. They've got it this year, and I've had it with Arsenal back in the day where you go, yeah, this is the year. There's nobody stopping us now. And normally you're right when you get it, but but it's all messed up that I'm looking at it going, well, we need I need to know that City are definitely finished, because this thing, like you touched on it there about with Pep leaving at the end of the season. I agree now. I didn't think he would be, but now I do think, yeah, he is. I think he's had enough. But that could also go the other way, where he just goes, guys, one last hurrah. Let's all dig in. Now, I do agree with you that it will probably go the other way, that it will advantage us. But this guy is he's a top motivator, Pep. So he could spin that into let's all, like Ferguson on his last year. You know what I mean? Like it could be that whole thing of let's do this one last hurrah. Now, Ferguson, obviously, it wasn't as publicly known until very near the end, but behind closed doors, he might have told him. Who knows? But I don't know if Pep could use that to spin it. We'll see. But I'm not counting City out. It's Pep Guardiola at the end of the day. He's one of the greatest managers of all time. So, you know, and he's up against Arteta. I know who I'd rather have in charge.
Yeah, 100%. And I think for me, it looks like it has to get to the latter stages of the title race for me to say, right, Arsenal have it.
Yeah.
I think sorry, 1 sec.
All right.
I think if he beat us on Sunday, it's a statement win, Shane. Like, if he beat us on Sunday, it's massively a statement win. Because if he go on and do that, it sets I think, obviously, depending on what happens in the Wolves game, you could go 10 points clear at the top. And I think if you go double digits, it's over. For me, it's over at double digits. I think 7 points, you can beat him, and it's like, okay, it's back to 4. But if he beat us on Sunday, and then they lose to Wolves or even draw against Wolves, I'm kind of like, even 9 points, I'd be kind of like, Arsenal have a bit of a buffer. You know, they still have a bit of a buffer. But it'd be interesting to see what happens on Sunday in terms of how Arteta approaches it, but also Michael Carrick as well, because we done well against City last Saturday at Old Trafford. But I want to get your reaction, Shane, on news that broke yesterday out of Man United. Obviously, Casemiro is leaving Man United at the end of the season. He's been a key player this season, considering what Jamie Carragher said about 18 months ago, that leave the football before the football leaves you. In my opinion, he's been, even in Amram's Dart system, he was one of our better players.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a big experience head that's going to be lost in the dressing room, and a big hole in midfield for us. What do you make of him leaving United, and who do you think should we be targeting to replace him?
It's a good time for me. Get rid of that big contract. Yeah, he's been very good this season. I think not having Europe has suited him. Just playing once a week, he's been able to just get his rest. He hasn't had to play in Europe, going out of the cups. It's worked out perfectly for him, in fact, and he seems quite content about it. You know, he's not kicking up a fuss. I think he knows it's time. He'd probably go back to Brazil, I'd imagine, and see out his time there, or maybe go to Saudi or something for a year and earn a bag. But I think it's the right time. As for getting players in, it wouldn't be Baleba for me. I don't like the way it looks like he's down tools at Brighton. Now, he hasn't down tools as in kicking up a fuss, but he looks like he's not as interested, and I don't like that. For me, it would definitely be a Wharton or Elliot Anderson. I think they're what United are looking for, and I think they're very Carrick-esque in how they can win a ball back. Sort of, they don't need to smash into players. They read the game well, win the ball back, and they can play whenever they do play a pass. It has meaning on it. More so Wharton, if you're getting that holding six. I like to look at that guy, as I always say. I think he's everything that Arsenal fans claim Zubimendi is. All his passes are forward. There's meaning on them. He zips it in. He reads the game well. He's a big lad. He's at a good age. And with the way Palace are getting picked apart, I'm pretty sure he will leave in the summer. So for me, it'd be either of those two that I'd be getting in if I was United. As well, you'll have to pay the English tax, I know, but they know the league. And as I said, good on the ball, read it well. And they are quite, ironically, very Carrick-esque. But it'd be one of those two for me. You believe it, if it has to be believe it, fine, get him in. He is a decent player. But I think the other two are just a class above him.
Yeah, and I think if I look at what Casemiro brings, he brings stuff on and off the ball.
Yeah.
And he brings experience and discipline. And I look at Wharton and Anderson. They're two very good players, especially Elliot Anderson, the way he can zip it through midfield and the way he can win the ball back. And then he doesn't do anything extravagant. He lays it off to the 8 or into the number 10. And I like the way what he does with Forrest when he wins the ball back, looks up, looks for Gibbs, what he gives them, and gets back into position. It's simple, but it works. Like you said, like Carrick. Obviously not to the level of what Michael Carrick was as a footballer, but
no, he was an exceptional player.
Very simple but effective. I think that's what they are. I think it's a massive loss, Shane, because I look at, let's say, the post-United era. He's probably been one of our better players. He's been key to winning the couple of trophies that we've won while he's been here. And I think, you look at our leadership group in the summer is probably going to get stripped apart. I think Bruno's the only one that's probably going to stay. He's probably going to stay another year as a result of this. But Harry Maguire's probably going to leave, regardless of what people say about him. He's turned it around in the last 2 years compared to where he was. And he's an experienced head in the dressing room. Matthias is injury ridden and he's not available every week. So I think Casemiro leaving is maybe if he's not playing every week, but it's a head in the dressing room that's available that you need there that'll keep players keep players at check. And I think that's something that we will miss, especially with a new manager coming in. You kind of need one of them two heads in the dressing room to kind of maintain the dressing room.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of them players that's going to be a massive loss in that.
Yeah, well, the thing with Casemiro is I think if he was on less wages, they might have given him another year. And I think he maybe they did offer him, maybe they asked him to take a pay cut and he went, nah, man, I'm not. But a lot of the Brazilian guys and the South American guys, it's like the Tevez thing where he went to China and people saying, oh, he's only going for the money. He said, you're damn right I am. I've got 30 or 40 people depending on me. You know what I mean? A lot of time that is the case and they can't afford to drop the money. Maybe he just doesn't feel it. Maybe he knows they'll be in Europe next season. He's like, I won't be able to play every game. Or maybe it's just a mutual decision. But yeah, considering the areas have had, his first season, he was great, Casemiro. There was talk of him being the best 6 in the league and all that sort. That was the argument at the time. Then he fell off a cliff for a while, but now the last couple of seasons he's been back to playing well again. But I think it's the right time. I do think it's the right time for him to go. I think it's if United are going to do this whole new, let's get back to the way we used to play and stuff like that. I think getting in a Wharton or an Elliot Anderson would be the way to go. And that should be their first port of call this summer. Even if Casemiro was staying, their first port of call, which should have been last summer, is get in someone in midfield with legs. Because, apart from Casemiro, the guys just have in that position, they just ain't it. I mean, Mainu, that isn't his position. I like Mainu. I think he's a very good player. I was talking him getting a new contract now as well, which it's mad how quickly football can change. It's
mad when the manager leaves, Shane, isn't it? It's mad when the manager leaves. What happens?
Yeah. You see the real players. Then it'll happen with us as well. When this guy goes, it'll all come out about him playing players injured and stuff like that. But we're going to have to wait for that.
And just on that as well, you mentioned obviously Kobbie Mainoo potentially getting a new contract, and it looks like he's a new lease of life. Obviously, Michael Carrick coming in. There's a lot of briefs at the club that Michael Carrick's been instrumental in, I suppose, in getting him back to where he is. If I suppose this is the first time I've talked to you on my channel since Ruben got the sack.
Yeah.
Where's your head at? If let's say in the world where Michael Carrick does well, and gets us Champions League, but like has us playing football doing it, not getting over the line. If Carrick has us playing football and doing it, should he at least be in the conversation for the job, or do you think United need to go right, bang, best in class? Carrick, you've done well, but best in class.
It's a tough one, isn't it? If he hadn't already been burned with the Ole thing, which, you know, when you look back at his time, you go, it wasn't perfect, but I think he was just too soft. If Carrick comes in and does a job, he has to be in. He has to be in the running for it. Now, if they just gave him a rolling contract at the start and said, right, we'll give you one more year. Don't sign him down to a big contract. Don't snooker yourselves by tying him down. Look, if he got his Champions League football and got his playing 65% or more of your games from now till the end of the season in and around that City performance, there's none of them are going to be that, because that's one of those once in a blue moon performances. That's where everything goes well. Could have been 5 or 6. It was first to every ball. You know, you can't do that every game. It's impossible. Klopp tried it for years, and he'd always burn out after a couple of years. But if he can find a balance and get that front-footed football, I mean, Gianni has said it many a time before that when managers come into, especially a big club, whether it's a Napoli, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, you've said this as well, actually, that you have to take a bit of the DNA and not move too far from it. You know, like people say that, oh, well, Arteta's going back to Arsenal's DNA, you know, the George Graham. Well, George Graham was the exception. Arsenal in the 20s were the most attacking team in the world. You know what I mean? That's our DNA, is playing attacking football. And it was all the way through the years. It was Graham that went the other way, and then Wenger brought it back. People thought Wenger made us it. He brought it back. But if he can get that feeling back, I think a lot of United fans are wary of it, going, oh, I've been here before where I've got carried away by one manager and then we give him a contract and it doesn't work. It depends. It depends who's working with him. To me, it feels like there's too many cooks spoiling the broth there, different people wanting to sign different players. And, you know, would he have enough power to get in players he wants? Would he have a bit of a say? But I do think if he does what you said and gets Champions League with good football, he has to be in the conversation. Where would you stand on it? Would you want him to be in the conversation, or do you want someone big to come in?
If he gets Champions League the way I said it, where he plays good football, I think he should be interviewed for the job at least.
Yeah.
And go from there. Again, there's a few factors this depends on. I look at a couple of managers I want. A couple of them are in work, and a couple of them are at the World Cup. And I hate using this word because top Gooners use it, right? But context has to be key here. If one of these international managers does really well, like let's say Tuchel wins the World Cup with England, let's say.
Yeah.
Get him in.
Yeah.
Get him in, right? If, for example, Nagelsmann wins the World Cup with Germany, he's someone you should be talking to. Yeah. If Unai Emery's having trouble with Villa, if the board aren't giving him what they want to give him, have a conversation. You know, I think these top managers need to be on our shortlist, because I think if we want to win, we need these big managers, these big personalities. But I also think with Michael Carrick, if on merit he does play well, he plays the United way, or plays an attacking brand of football, gets us Champions League, and unlocks players like Kobbie Mainoo, and has Bruno playing in his correct position, and even gets a tune out of a player like Benjamin Sesko, you'd have to look at him then, you'd be like, okay, if not the manager, do you keep him on the coaching staff?
That's what I was going to say. Would he be willing to be a number 2 for a few years to a top manager, and then take the reins when the top manager moves on? I don't know if that would be an option.
We tried that with Ryan Giggs, and then Jose didn't keep him on. And then there's obviously other issues there outside of football that. One of the reasons he didn't get the job there was obviously a court case and all that crack. But like we tried that with Giggsy, and then he moved on, and he looked like the natural successor to Van Gaal at the time. And then obviously we done it with Ollie, and I think if you look in hindsight, it was probably like while we didn't win a trophy with him, it was probably the most stable we've been in terms of consistently in the Champions League, playing decent football, but not getting over the line. Probably what Arteta's doing now, but again with less outlay, basically. He got to finals and semi-finals, and obviously he didn't get over the line. So we had that with Ollie. So I think I think the thing in our fan base at the minute, Shane, I think I won't say we're scared, but we've watched that film before.
Yeah.
And we've seen how it ended, like a club legend in tears and getting abused by fans at times. And I think that's why I'm always wary about appointing a club legend, because it's like, you've seen him what he was as a player, right? And it's like,
yeah.
And you know what the fan base can be like. I can be like it at times where you're like, you might be critical, maybe, and rightly so, but you're overly critical maybe at times too. And it's like, I don't want to have a player like Carrick, who I grew up watching, do well, and all of a sudden it goes to shit, and then people are turning around saying, "Oh, that affects his United legacy," because that happened with Solskjaer as manager.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, he's the man who won us the fucking treble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a rock and a hard place, but like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be completely upfront. Your viewers are probably going to watch this and they'll be saying on the Full Irish in the morning, I'll be fucking giddy, Shane, if he gets the Champions League and has us playing good football, and it's United blueprint, and it's at the end of the season. I go to games. My red tinted glasses are probably going to come on, Shane. I'm like, Rio said, put the contract on the table.
Yeah. You can't help it. You look, the dopamine kicks in. But you're right about the legacy thing. I mean, look at Steve Staunton with Ireland. It's hard just not to see him as that manager that absolutely flopped. And Steve Staunton is an Irish legend, like one of the best players we've ever had. And every time I see his face, I just go, "Oh, you were so comical when you were in charge of the national team." So it can't happen. That's why if you ask any of the Arsenal fans on our side, "Oh, would you take Cesc?" We always say to a man, "I don't want any ex-player. I don't want any, project manager. I want an Ancelotti-esque manager. I want someone that comes in with a CV, someone that wins, someone that doesn't like press conferences, someone that doesn't use transition and duels and all that stuff. An old school manager. I want someone that comes in that doesn't need all of that stuff." But as for United with the Carrick thing, I mean, I think that they need to make a decision now behind closed doors and say, either we'll leave it open, and if he does well, he's in the conversation, or they need to lay down a marker, be it privately, and say, regardless of what he does, he's not in contention. They have to make a decision, I think, themselves, and be firm with it now, because it's very, very common for a manager to get that bounce. I mean, Di Matteo won the Champions League with Chelsea. That can happen.
And the FA Cup as well.
I mean, that can happen. So you don't want to go down that route. He's done well with Middlesbrough. And then it's about financial backing and who's he going to get in. So there is an advantage as well to keeping him, as in he's had the players for half a season. He knows what he wants. It's not another manager coming in and going, "Well, no, I don't fancy Mainu again." And then you go backwards, and there's always that risk. So if they can come up with a solution of a top manager who's a bit older, and again, I'm just using Ancelotti as an example, that type of manager who will only be there for 2 or 3 years, but is a proven winner, or a Conte or something like that, and Carrick stays on, and then the whole plan is to, like Liverpool used to do it all through their history up until the end of the 80s, was that the assistant manager would take over, and then, Paisley, and it would be handed over. If that was the plan, or at least in principle, that was the plan, to keep him on and say, look, you still have a bit to learn, especially with Champions League. He's never managed a Champions League game, so there is all of that. If you can get in someone that the idea is then that he comes in after and all things go well, then maybe that would be better. But I think they do privately need to make a decision now and say, regardless of what happens, it's this or this. Because you don't want to be leaving it open and giving into, like you said, the dopamine, and giving into it can make you make crazy decisions.
Yeah, dopamine can definitely make crazy decisions. I'll attest to that. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens these next few months, because I think there's going to be a managerial merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Because obviously, Rosenior's gone in at Chelsea, Pep leaving City. Slott's definitely going to get the sack, I think, eventually. Real Madrid looking for a new manager. If let's say Barcelona win Champions League,
I think Flick's going to leave as well.
If they win the Champions League, he might go, I think.
I think he'll go regardless. I think he's just run his course there now. I just get that feeling. Barcelona don't normally. And you know what? I think Emery's going to leave as well. I think Emery's going to leave Villa in the summer, if not before. I think he's had enough of not being backed. He's working miracles, and they just keep selling players underneath him. I do think that Emery will be gone in the summer. I think he's had enough of it.
Yeah, I think he's done. without more money, I think he's probably taken him as far as he can take him. Like if they gave him money, maybe he can make the next step, you know, in terms of like win the trophy or
Well, I think he'll win the
in the Champions League.
He'll win one of them. I think he'll win one of them, but I still think he'll walk.
I think he will as well. And it's mad then that you have the United job available. You'll have the Madrid job. Like, you know, again, Barcelona could become available. Yep. You know, Arteta could get the sack.
Like, even Atletico, Simeone could walk from that as well. He's only got a year left.
Emery would fit right in there as well.
He could see that happening as well, yeah.
Like a glove, literally.
Yep.
Like a glove, he could go in there and bang, nothing would change. You know, literally in terms of like structure, being a structured team, and
he could lead them to a Champions League as well. He could lead Atletico to a Champions League.
100%. I'm just going to come to a couple of comments actually. Aidan says Alonso's waiting for Liverpool. He hopes.
Yeah, I think so.
And Jordan says then he doesn't want Thomas Tuchel either. Ooh, interesting. Let me know who you want, Jordan. Let us know who you want.
I can understand that, by the way. I can understand that. What's the longest Tuchel's ever been at a club?
3 years.
2-3 years maximum, I think, is it? You know what I mean? So I think that would play on my mind. I think United needs stability right now. Emery would be perfect for me. Emery would be a perfect manager for United.
Yeah, he definitely stabilised things, and I think
Mainu would ball out under him, Cunha would ball out under him, and Mbeumo would ball out under him. You know what I mean?
They'd probably even at that, Shane, as well. There'd probably be a road for Marcus Rashford to come back.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah. He was getting a song out of him, Villa.
Yeah, so like literally, I think like he would be a good manager. Look, he's on my list. I done a video here a couple of weeks ago on the channel when it looked like Ollie was coming back, and like my top 3 at the time was Tuchel, Emery, and my third one was, if you couldn't get any of your big targets, it was Pochettino, just for stability for like a couple of years and then get the big man. But again, he'd be like another Arteta-ish man where, again, would he win a trophy? Though that's the thing. I think even in our bad spell, Shane, we've won trophies, you see. And I think that's where I think we're a very patient fan base. Like, I think with the shit, some of the shit that's happened in the last like 13 years. One thing I'll say about the United fan base is we back our managers probably too much at times.
Yeah.
Like Amram was getting back in with a 31% win rate. Arteta didn't have a 31% win rate, though, to be fair, Shane.
Yeah, I know. What he did at the start, he wouldn't have been far off it the first couple of years.
But yeah, like I think even some of the modern football fan is probably a bit too patient, especially like when you have, like, you look at our club, both of our club's legacies for a second. Let's not talk present Arsenal and present Man United. Let's talk yesteryear, right? Our club's legacies are built on playing good football, winning trophies, and competing, right?
Yep.
And you know, obviously promoting you and things like that, right? You look at the current managers we've had, let's say, in the last decade. You've had Emery, you've had Arteta, we've had, obviously, had Wenger as well, at that time as well, towards the later years. We've had, obviously, Ollie, Tuchel, Jose Mourinho, Van Gaal. We've literally tried everything. And it's anti-Man United, what we've done in the last kind of 10 years. You look at the way both of our fan bases' mentalities have actually shifted in the last 10 years. We went from demanding titles, demanding competing for the Champions League, to fucking hell, wouldn't it be great to get back into the Champions League? Now, I know Arsenal are back in it, but they had that for a couple of years where they were like, when you're out of it after Wenger, it's like, fuck, wouldn't it be great to get back in? We're the exact same right now. Like, wouldn't it be great to get them European nights back at Old Trafford, you know? And I feel like when we have this, it's like, you look what Fergie built, you look what Wenger built, and it's like, it's a far cry in terms of standards. Never mind the football and results, and shit can happen, but the standards of both of our clubs have just ziplined.
No, it's mad, and it is just the modern fan in general, I think. But except when you look at it, it always boggles my mind when I always use Leicester sacking Ranieri the season after he'd won the league. You know, when you look at the West Hams of this world, the football's not good enough, sack the manager. Now it's backfired and then they're in relegation, I understand that, but you see these lower teams that sack their manager even when they're not in relegation. We want to go a different direction. We want to move on. We want to try this. We want to try that. And it's almost like the bigger clubs have been tricked into, the bigger English clubs. It doesn't happen on the continent, but being tricked into this idea that, you know, you're a glory hunter, you know, and come on, man. You know what I mean? I understand a manager getting praised like Emery at Villa. With all respect to Villa, they're not expected to win trophies, so this is great for them, and this is, you know. But there was Villa fan in DJB's chat the other week, sorry, and a couple of months ago, in fact. But he was asked, if you don't get Champions League, would you want Emery out? And he said, we'd have to start thinking about it, yeah, because it'd be 2 years without it. And then someone said, oh, you're getting greedy. You didn't have Champions League before he came. He said, yeah, but now we do. You know, so I want it again. If we're at that point, I want to maintain it. And when it starts to drop, I want another manager. And then with the knowledge that it could get worse and worse, which will probably happen, you're not going to get another manager of Emery's class. But I understand those standards. So I get it on my side when I get told, oh my God, what do you mean you'd only give Arteta another year if you won the league? Well, you're damn right I'd only give him another year if he won the league, because if we're at that standard now, I want it all the time. So if he falls off the way Slot did, I want him gone, the way the Liverpool fans want Slot gone. I don't want, why should they have better standards than me? And you're right, I think Arsenal and United have been the two biggest victims of it, fan base wise. I don't know how I think it's a PR trick. I really do. I think, especially Arsenal, because I'm closer to them. And I've seen it happen since Arteta's come in. I've seen them systematically lower the standard and whitewash history and never mention it. And, you know, he was asked about Arsene Wenger in a press conference about a week ago. They said, oh, what do you think of Arsene Wenger? He's trying to change a certain rule. And he answered the question without... but he answered the question without mentioning his name. Like, how do you do that? How do you answer a question about someone like Arsene Wenger and not mention his name? And that's just a small example of it. But this idea that he saved us, that Arteta saved us from this horrible place, and, you know, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and it's been a PR trick from the start. And United have looked at it and gone, we can keep managers for an extra year or two if they're failing. If we do, it's the Arsenal template. You just keep talking about how great things are and culture, and we own the streets and all that sort of stuff. And the modern fan just goes, yeah, this is great. You know, this is great. I'll show up. I'll leave early because I don't want to miss traffic. And, you know, that's what it is. And you see Old Trafford clearing out the way. Emirates is worse for it, but that's not the diehard fans leaving. That's not the season ticket holders leaving early. It's the fans that go to one or two games and go, we're 2-0 up, we'll be all right. You know what I mean? And even the Wolves game, when they equalised, the stadium cleared out. You know, and there's still a few minutes left to try and win it, which we did with an own goal. But the point I'm trying to get to about going around the houses is you're spot on when you say that. The Arsenal and United fan base are definitely the zestiest out there. And it's been, think of how quick it's changed, Keane. Think of how quick it's changed. 6-7 years it's taken to completely overhaul the fan base. Madness. And a lot of the fans that are getting that way are older than us. That's the scary part. They were the other way. They were demanding trophies, and sure, those days are gone now. That's not the way football is anymore. It's just a day out. Yeah, it might be for you, but it's not for me, mate.
Definitely isn't for me when I'm getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, or leaving my house at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning to get to Dublin Airport to fly to Manchester and then pay hundreds on a hotel.
Yeah.
Money on food, Ubers, you know what, the whole lot. And you do it multiple times a year with the season ticket, and that's just league games. And when we were in Europe, I done with the Europa League last year, I'd literally done every game bar 2 last year, and one of them was the final. And obviously I didn't get tickets for the final, but I'd done most of the games last year. Literally, I had a Snapchat story up literally a couple of hours ago. I got a flashback from when we beat Rangers in the Europa League last year, last minute. This day last year, Bruno scored the last minute winner. And we had a storm here in Ireland this time last year. My flight was meant to get cancelled, but got delayed by hours. But like, that's what it's about. Do you know what I mean? You go even in lashing rain nights in the middle of January when it's fucking -2, like, and you see, like, that's what we mean. But that's what culture is. That's what fan culture is. That's what culture of like Man United, culture of Arsenal is, where I suppose you demand the standards, but also you demand that your club has them standards. And like these two clubs, I think the way we fell off is embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing, and it's a shame how it's gone. I'm going to leave Julio's comment up here. He says, the Go Irish YouTuber and myself. I appreciate that.
I like it.
Yeah, well, Shane definitely has that mantle. He's the hardest working Irish YouTuber out there, like 100%.
Yeah.
I might have had a shout back from 2020 to like 2023, but not anymore. But I don't have the work rate like this man has now. But I do not have that work rate now, and his content is fucking booming right now. So yeah, do subscribe to Shane as well, lads. And then Julio also has a comment in and says it was worth it. Those Sofia and Bilbao games were worth it at home. Shame we didn't go to Leon. Oh yeah, by the way, Shane, last season, do you remember the 5-4 game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we United were about to go out in extra time and Harry Maguire scored that
Harry
last
Maguire
goal.
Yeah.
I sold my ticket for that game.
No, no, it's always the way, isn't it? It's always
a couple of days
the way.
before, it's like, fuck it, I'm not arsed, I'm not going. And then that happens. I'm like, fuck. Like I said, every Europa League game last year, bar 2, I went to. And the 2 I didn't go to was one, we got beat by Spurs in the final. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ that God didn't get me into the ballot for that game.
United were awful in that final. They were so bad in that final, man.
Amram should have got sacked for that.
He should have got sacked. He should have got sacked in the tunnel. He should have got sacked in the tunnel for that. That was cowardly. That was so cowardly.
We wheeled Fergie out to the pitch to bring out the trophy and everything. I'm like, oh, lovely. There you go. It's going to be a trophy. Fergie's bringing it out now. Grand. And then, look, that happened. When you lose a final to Tottenham Hotspur, like, that's gross misconduct.
And just Tottenham as well. Like.
And just Tottenham as well, by the way. Yeah. I wanted, before I get your starting 11 and score prediction, Shane, I wanted to bring this topic up to you. I don't know if you've seen it this week. There's been a comparison this week. Current 25-26 Arsenal versus 2008 Man United. Top Gooners are running with this. Theo Walcott's running with this. What do you make of this topic that's been brought up this week? Like, Wayne Rooney said in 2 seconds, we batter him. Paul Scholes was more subdued and he was asked about it on the fan debate today. But do you think this is like the modern football fan? And like you said, PR. Do you think this is a proper PR tactic by the Arteta lovers?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Stuff like this gets traction. Does that guy? He sounds like he's from Northern Ireland, outside the Emirates, that is naming managers that he wouldn't take prime Ferguson, prime Mourinho, prime Wenger over Arteta, right? Right? That's everywhere. So that's the template to get clicks. That's the template to get shares. That's the template. AFTV have made that decision. They realised at some point we can have every Arsenal fan sharing our shorts and sharing our content, or we can humiliate Arsenal and have every other fan on the planet sharing our content. Oh, we'll get every other fan on the planet. So let's get in all these guys that make fools of us, that say silly things, that say burner boys, and they shout stupid things. Let's get them in, and they'll spread the content out because they'll humiliate us. I have loads of people replying to me. One of the versions of that, it's everywhere, that United team of I think it's 08-09, isn't it, against the Arsenal
07-08, yeah. 07-08.
It's 07-08. It's 07-08, okay. And I put the top 4 in 07-08 would smash this Arsenal team. You know what I mean? Any of the top 4. Take any of the top 4 from 07-08. Take the Arsenal team from 07-08. They'd smash this Arsenal team. They only finished 4 points off that United team. That Arsenal team was good. We were very close to winning the league. We had assigned a keeper. To this day,
if Eduardo didn't get injured that season, it might have been a different story.
That's part of it. But having Almunia in goals was it. That was if we were meant to get Shea Given and Wenger pulled the plug on it for some bizarre reason. We were very close to getting Shea Given that summer. If we had got Shea Given, I think we would have won the league, because people talk about that when there was. But the other Birmingham game, there was a 1-1 where Almunia let it go through his hands in injury time, and it was literally the keeper. That was the downside to us, was not having a keeper. But that top 4 would smash this Arsenal team. I mean, this Arsenal team hasn't won anything. Why are we talking about them like they've won a load? They haven't won anything. And people go, oh, well, it doesn't make a difference. I judge with my eyes. Well, no, you don't, because like I said, we've taken the lead 4 times in the league this season through open play without needing the set piece. We play terrible football. We've barely smashed anybody. And the 5 where we have played well for 60 minutes, Odegaard hasn't played any of them. He'll be back against Hughes on Sunday. You can be sure of that. This Arsenal, you take any top team, you take the Barcelona team now and put that United team and smash them. You know what I mean? The football has fallen off a cliff, and I don't care what anybody else says. Anybody who says any different, you get the likes of Igal saying different, but he's comparing it to a 1996 World Cup that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So that's the type of person. That's the type of person that is questioning it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But to me, that United team, It's just a matter of how much they beat them by. That's it. I saw people comparing Saliba and Gabriel to Vidic and Ferdinand. Oh, they're catching them on clean sheets. Right, but Vidic and Ferdinand got there like 35 games earlier or something. You know what I mean?
And they also got the team, the British. They went 1,311 minutes without conceding a goal as well.
Yeah, but that's what they do. They manipulate stats to make it look like there's a chance. And I stand by that. Any of the top four, go back and look at the top four from then, look at their team and go, they would steamroll this Arsenal team, because we're talking about an Arsenal team that has no player that has scored more than 5 in the league. You know what I mean? They ain't coming close. They're not coming close to that team. We had Eduardo, Adebayor, Van Persie. We had a stacked team. Fabregas in his prime, Flamini in his prime, Diaby in his prime, Hleb, Rosicky, Clichy, Sanya. That was a stacked team, man. An absolutely stacked team. It gets very underrated how good that team was. So we would have easily smashed it, never, let alone the United one, let alone the United team. So that things like that enrage me when I see them, because people think that all of our fans are that way. And the scary part is that 90% are, because I was talking to Aaron about it, and he was going nuts about that Ladbrokes ad where they're asking that you know, would you take Rice over? Where would you put Rice on the list of Rice, Scholes, Lampard, and Gerrard? And they all said Rice top, all the way down. Right, Rice is better than all of those three. And Aaron said, "Oh, look, they handpick the ones that say it." And I said, "I bet you they don't, though, Aaron. I'd say if you stop 10 Arsenal fans on the way into the Emirates, 9 of them will say Rice is top of that list." That's what's happened to our fan base. Rice is a very good player. He ain't lacing their boots. He's not lacing their boots. Not even close to coming near Lampard or Scholes or Gerrard. But this is the problem. These fans are so starved of good players that they just don't know what they see. They just don't know what they're looking at. And if you just go back 20 years, take the Ballon d'Or list and stack it up next to the Ballon d'Or list from last year, it's different gravy. Like, it's completely different gravy. You could take the 26 nominees from this year, stack them up against the 26 from last year, and you'd find it hard to fit more than, say, 4 of the modern day players into the 26. And that's only 20 years ago. Go back 30, it gets even more drastic. So I ain't having that. Comparisons like that are just, it's just modern day, unfortunately. It's all about clicks. It's all about shocking people and having people go, "Oh, have you seen this?" And even though you don't want to have anything to do with it, you still have to send it to someone else to say, "Have you seen this nonsense?" You know, it
got sent to me about 6 times this week, and I was like,
there you go.
It got sent to me to one of the lads that sent to me. He knew how I'd react. I turned around and I said, "Do you know what? Fuck this. I don't like." Not that I have a say in who I want to win the league this year, but I was like, "Fuck it. I do not want Arsenal to win a trophy this year, a big one, because if that happens, Rice is getting put in them conversations all of a sudden." And I seen a video on this the other week, by the way. There's these Arsenal fans who appear on the Egals and AFTV channels of the world, right? That were comparing current Saka to 07-08 Ronaldo. And I was like, yeah. Ronaldo scored 42 goals that season and won the Ballon d'Or. And won the Champions League and won the Premier League.
Saka has 4 goals this season. 2 of them are penalties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, this is what we're up against, though. Like, this is what we're up against. And, like, that's why I hate, like, I suppose, not even just with the Arsenal thing, Shane, but like the chat that's going on in modern day football, comparing some of these teams to teams that like even I looked at like the Liverpool title winning team 1920 when they're comparing that to Arsenal of 98, right? And they're comparing it to Chelsea's 04-05 team. And I'm like, 2 of them would batter that Liverpool team. Like their midfields would eat Liverpool's midfield for breakfast.
No, yeah, like, it wouldn't even be a comparison. Sorry, it wouldn't be a comparison. Jordan Henderson and Keita up against Keane and Scholes, or up against Vieira and Petit. Give me a break.
Come on, then up against, you know what I mean? And Chelsea's midfielder was what? Makelele and Lampard.
Yeah. You
know, so
it's not a comparison.
That's where I look at them. Like the way they compare like modern day football to what was essentially like the prime Barclays Premier League. It's outrageous. Like Julio says here, can you imagine if financially stricken Benitez and Wenger had the money out there today?
Come on, man. I mean, this is what they don't get. This is what they don't understand. I mean, if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, he will be, for me, the first ever failed checkbook manager, because most checkbook managers win something. He'll be the first one to get to be a checkbook manager that didn't win anything. Yes, he's got a bigger reputation than any other manager on the planet. It's mad. PR is a crazy, crazy thing. This guy wouldn't have lasted 6 months in a job in the 90s, early 2000s. Mourinho and Ferguson and Wenger and all would have eaten him alive. They would have eaten him alive, because he'd be talking all his nonsense, and they just go, nah, this ain't working. Because the PR wasn't as powerful then. There wasn't the social media presence. This guy has, I'd say his PR team is massive. He nodded at two lads before in a press conference about 2 months ago. And so he was asked about some sort of media narrative, and he said, oh yeah, well, they'll tell me all about it. There's PR guys. They tell him what to say. They tell him you need to touch on this, don't touch on this. The whole thing came out about Mascara. That was going around, he's injured for longer than they say. Of course, then he touches on it in a press conference without being asked. So that we know that they all have PR teams, but the Arsenal PR team it's a different level. Like, it is a different level, to the point where me and DJB, the first conversation we ever had when I first met him backstage was, have you ever seen a manager this protected? And both of us just went, no, never in my life have I seen it. Not just for Arsenal, just in general. But the comparisons back in the day, I'm sorry, but it's just not working, for me, because it's not nostalgia, by the way. It's not nostalgia. It was just much better back then. The football was much better. And there's a lot of people talking about it now, currently, at the moment. There's a lot of podcasts and stuff where people going, no, sorry, it was much better back then. Like, this last season, I thought was the worst I could get. And now it's gotten
even worse this year.
Yeah.
The guys, I did a podcast with Phil and Lee over and talked to them. They both played for Man United. And Phil was telling me the striker that he was up against, right? These are the strikers he was up against each week in terms of trying to get into the team. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Wayne Rooney, Louis Saha, Alan Smith, and Carlos Tevez. They were the strikers he was competing with during his time, right? And then Lee was telling me the left backs he had. Obviously, he had Phil Neville, John O'Shea, Silvestre, Gabriel Heinze when he came in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, now imagine these players. Like, I'm mentioning players at like striker level, and even the left backs we had there. Imagine them players now. Imagine Gabriel Heinze as a left back now. Like, it's one of them, Shane. Like, I just don't get like how people can look at both eras, and especially look. There's people who watch football and read it off ChatGPT, right? We know who that person is.
There's a lot of them. He's the worst for it, but there's a lot of them.
He's the worst of it, but it's just, look, there's no helping him, and there's no point even talking about him anymore. Before we finish up, Shane, give me your starting 11 prediction for Arsenal on Sunday.
Well, the one that Arteta will pick will be Timber left back, unless he's Calafiori and Nkapie were seen in training. So unless he's rushed one of them back, I'm not sure if they'll be available. If one of them's available, they'll be left back and Timber be right back. If they're not, it'll be Timber left back, the usual centre backs, Ben White right back, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, probably Jesus, but it could be Gyökeres. And who played last time? Martinelli. No, Trossard played last time, did he? So Trossard or probably Trossard. Probably Trossard, I'd say he'll pick. But the midfield picks itself. The centre-backs picks itself. The goalkeeper, obviously. And depending on fitness, it'll be Timber, Ben White. But I can see him rushing back one of the left-backs, either Calafiori or Nkapie, who are meant to be out for weeks, but they're not. And it's just a flip between Jesus and Gyökeres. But I think he might go... I'm thinking Jesus, but then I don't know if he'll start them 2 games in a row.
I think he goes Jesus. I think he'll go Jesus because we'll start Maguire with the premise of Gyökeres is going to play.
Yeah. But that's what I was thinking, because I was saying that Maguire, the type of forward he likes playing against is a Gyökeres. That's one of the forwards he likes. He doesn't like getting dragged around. So, but again, Arteta doesn't really think of tactics that way. But I think the only decisions that might vary will be Trossard and up front. But I do think if I had to put money on it, I'd say Jesus. And if I had to put money on it, I'd say Trossard. And then, like I said, depending on fitness, it'll probably be Timber and Ben White as the fullbacks, or else one of the left backs rush back and Timber at right back. But most of it will be very predictable, and the way we'll play will be predictable. And if you can stop us scoring from set pieces, there's a very good chance that you won't lose, because, like I said, only 4 times we've broken down teams without them. So.
Yeah, and I think the key for us is not to concede in the first 20-25 minutes. I think if we can grow into the game, and I think frustrate your frustrate the home crowd. Start getting Bruno on the ball, catchy on the break. I think that's
he likes
where we
playing
can...
us as well. He likes playing us as well. If you take the lead, you won't lose. You might draw, but you won't lose.
Yeah. You've just robbed my score prediction because I said 1-1 and Arsenal get set piece.
Yeah, I got 2-1 us at a push, but I think that's more my heart. I think my head says a draw. A lot of it will depend on the City result, by the way. If they slip up, you have more of a chance of beating us. If they win, he might actually go attacking. Well, not attacking, but attacking for him, I mean.
Yeah, like, look, it's one of them. Like, my original score prediction, because I always like to do score predictions on with the lads as well, and we always compete at the end of it. I was going to go 1-1, and I was actually going to take the lead, but then Gabriel or something would score from a corner. I think that's kind of what I was looking at. But now the fact you've spoken into existence, Shane, I think I have to change my mind. I have to do a flip-flop on it now, and I have to do... You want to know something? Man United are going to go out there, and we're going to go out and get a 2-1 win. And for the top Gooners, and just for my Sunday night entertainment, watching yourself, watching Lee Gunner, watching Dan Potts, all them channels, recliner up, watching TV, I think Sesko has to get the winner.
Do you know what? Arteta would love that. Arteta would love that. So you can prove
just to stir the pot, man.
Should have got him. He is the type of forward that can cause us trouble. Funnily enough, he is the type of forward that can cause us trouble because even if he doesn't score, if he can occupy a Saliba or a Gabriel, and if we do have it, say an Nkapie starting, he gets dragged out. If you have Mbeumo, if you have Cunha, what do you think your lineup will be? First of all, sorry, what do you think United's lineup will be?
Yeah, so it'll be
the forward line's hard to call.
Yeah, the forward line I think is going to be interesting, because we have a couple of options, and it's depending on where the Carrick goes. I think thing about Carrick is he's tactically flexible, and he plays different styles for different games. So I actually tend to think he mightn't go the same, for Arsenal. I'll go Lemens in goal. That's a start. I think Mazraoui is going to come in at right back, because Dallow's been piss poor, and I think for Michael Carrick's system, the way he likes his right backs to come into midfield as well, I think Mazraoui is way more suited to that than Dallo. So I think Mazraoui will come in. I think then the rest of the back four will stay the same.
Yeah.
He'll go Maguire, Martinez, Luke Shaw. Midfield 2 will stay the same. I think Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo will be the 2. Yeah. Bruno on the 10. My feeling is he's going to go Ahmad. And Mbeumo's going to start up front like he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mason Mount
will come in.
I think Mason Mount will come in.
That's not a bad shout.
Because I look at the big... I'll give you my logic for it. All our big games this year, bar the City one, Mount has played. And that Arsenal game was one of his better games of the season as well. Like our big away games, like at Anfield, especially at Anfield, he was one of our better players. So I think for his work rate, especially with Timber or White going down that line, he might use Mount for his defensive work rate as well. Now, you also have the option of Cunha there, like you said, if you want a more of an attacking threat. But then if you want someone who can go either way, Dorgu could keep his place.
I was thinking Dorgu just because of the way he played, because he'll offer cover tracking back as well. If we do have Ben White and he's overlapping, I could see him going right Dorgu. But Carrick is quite a front-footed manager as well, that he doesn't always just do his tactics just to nullify the other team. A lot of the time he does his tactics to surprise them. But yeah, now that I think about it, I actually think Dorgu might start. I can see him going with Sesko up front. I really can as well. I wouldn't be surprised just for balls over the top if we're pushing forward. But,
and maybe for hold-up play as well. Like there's multiple other options we can use. I think like if you want to like play really on the counter and bring players into play, you could play Joshua Zirkzee up there and then put Mbeumo out wide right and then bring on Ahmad then as an impact sub. But I think for me, I think Amad Diallo has to start for me because the way he played against Man City, the way he had their left back on toast, and it like if you're going to get at now the Emirates, you need someone who's good at carrying the ball.
Yeah,
you need someone who's very good at carrying the ball, especially at the Emirates.
We don't like that.
Like, I think at the Emirates, you need someone who's going to win fouls, and I think you need someone who's going to wind up the opposition fans. I think Ahmad can do that, especially like when you have Timber, a left back, who's like, I hate admitting a rival team has a very good player. He's mustard. Like, he's absolutely brilliant.
Left back, he's been getting a bit found out. And let's remember that's where Arteta signed him for. Again, he stumbled upon it, playing him at right back. At right back, I did have it was between him and Hakimi for the best in the world. But I think just Hakimi was edging it on me for going forward. But the Timber's added to his game going forward. I think that currently Timber is the best right back in the world. I think
Timber's more balanced than him as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's all about going forward, Shane. Everyone's saying it's all about going forward, but I think positionally, defensively,
he's
really, really good that way.
1-on-1, he's brilliant. He's fit. He's got a good attitude. He rarely gets booked, never gets sent off. You know, he doesn't want to be the main character all the time. He just gets on with his job. He's dangerous from corners. Guy's got everything, absolutely everything. He's a phenomenal player. He's a great signing. His
brother is deadly as well.
His brother is from Marseille, I think, hasn't he? I think he's
they're getting Nwaneri as well, actually. Who, by the way, before we wrap up, do you think he will come back, or do you think this is going to be a loan deal where it'll be ironclad first team football? He won't want to come back to Arteta after this loan deal.
I think him coming back depends on if Arteta's still here at the end of the season. I think if Arteta's still here, he'll go, "No, I want to go out again," because he's only going to lose his place even more gone, because we'll probably sign someone else, or now Marino will nail down the third slot, I suppose, behind it. Because if you look at that Odegaard side of midfield, in Arteta's head, it goes Odegaard, Havertz, Marino, Eze, and then Ethan. So he's fifth down on that list. If you go out to the right wing, it would go Saka, Madueke. He'd rather play Martinelli out there than Ethan. He's about fourth or fifth down that list as well. And I think he's only going to drop more. Arteta will never like this guy. He hates him. He doesn't listen to him as much as the rest. He's a maverick. He hates that. You can't grind it out of him. Which is mad, because even like that, I was saying it the other day, the whole Dutch school of thinking, when they were the first to really want ball players as defenders. You know, your centre back should be able to play with the ball as well as your 10. And they figured, which is just basic for football, is that it's easier to teach an attacking player how to defend than teaching a defender how to attack. So you make your wingers right back. So I don't know how this manager can't get these guys to get some of that stuff out of them. But the problem is that you shouldn't want to. You shouldn't want to be turning these guys into robots. These are match winners. You know what I mean? Like, if Ronaldo didn't track back, there's no point trying to make him. You know what I mean? Just let the other players track back. And I'm not saying you should have 4 or 5 attackers that don't track back, but it shouldn't be the main issue with them. It shouldn't be, whenever he talks about an attacking player, always work rate. It's always the first thing he says, work rate. And it's like, you know what I mean? I always use Rooney, but I always use Rooney as an example. He had more work rate than 99% of forwards, to the point where Ferguson used to have to slow him down and say, stop tracking back. And he
was just a pure street footballer, weren't he, though? He was a pure street footballer. Like
that's the thing. But when you talk about Rooney and how good he was, his work rate's about the 11th thing that you mentioned. It should never be the first thing. We're an attacking player. It shouldn't be. It should be game changer, goal scorer, you know, could play in the 10, could beat players, you know, had a shot on him, all that stuff. And you should go down on this and then go, oh, he had work rate. With Arteta, he talks about an attacking player. He starts with work rate, and that's all wrong to me. But Ethan, it's good for him to get a move. I'll be keeping a close eye on him, because you watch my show. I have massive appreciation for that guy. I think the potential is there to be a top player. So I hope he does well, and I hope when he comes back to a different manager who knows what to do with him.
That'd be an ideal situation for him. I think the fact he's had to sign that new contract,
it'd be a massive. Himself a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's fucked himself there a small bit. Like he really, really has. Quick 30-second one before you go. Do Ireland make the World Cup this year?
I have a feeling they will. Yeah. And again, that's pure dopamine. And I was only saying it the other day because of the good feeling. Because the game is so far away, March, the day of my birthday actually, but I'm looking at it going, because it's Ireland and this is what they do, we'll have all of this build up and we'll be going, I can't wait. and then we go get spanked 4-0 or something, be gone, why was I getting excited about this? You know what I mean? Like, you do get that feeling. But Pirates, after banging in a hat-trick against Ajax there at the weekend gone, 2 weekends ago. So look, this isn't the Czech team of before. These aren't the team that we remember with the Rizikis and the like in it. They can be got at, but I think if we get through that game, we will. I think if we because we'll be finishing at home, I think we will. But I have a feeling we will, but I think that's more heart than head. But I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think we will. I think Parrott's hitting form. I think Ferguson's starting to get back into it as well.
Yeah, he is.
And Nathan Collins and Kelleher. I think them 4 players are key. If you get the 4 of them playing and they're still in their good club form.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put it this way to you. If both of our games in the playoffs go to penalty shootouts, we're winning because the goalkeeper. Simple as.
That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Simple as. But on that note, we will wrap it up there. Shane, what do you have coming up on your channel?
What day's today? Friday. So yeah, full Irish tomorrow. Should have an off topic tomorrow night. It's not nailed down yet, but it should be on tomorrow night. But the full Irish tomorrow, match reaction Sunday, the usual. You know where to catch me. 10:30 in the morning. Full Irish. That's the main one. Anything else that's coming up, I'll let you know. But listen, thanks for having me on. Big up to the legendary chat, and I really enjoyed myself. Thanks again, and talk to you later, people.
It's always good to chat to you, Shane. And look, we will see you again sometime soon. Hopefully, next time we talk on our next season's game, it's 2 teams fighting for a title, and it's not 2 of us talking about mediocrity. Who knows?
Yeah.
But all the good stuff, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and always, we'll see you there.